It's no secret that what we eat can affect how we feel, but for older adults, the stakes are even higher. In the second half of life, when the brain begins to weather biological storms like oxidative stress, hormonal shifts, and creeping inflammation, food becomes more than fuel. It becomes strategy. And in the quiet war against late-life depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline, two dietary patterns have quietly emerged as frontline allies: the MIND diet and the alternate healthy eating index, AHEI. Spoiler alert, your mental health might just be hiding in a berry bowl or a side of sautéed greens. The MIND diet, a hybrid of the Mediterranean and DASH diets, was purpose-built with the brain in mind. Its acronym stands for Mediterranean Dash Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay, and it emphasizes 10 brain-supportive food groups: green leafy vegetables, berries, nuts, whole grains, fish, poultry, beans, olive oil, and wine, moderately if at all, while limiting brain foes like red meat, butter, cheese, sweets, and fried or fast food. In studies tracking thousands of older adults over time, higher MIND scores are repeatedly associated with lower risks of Alzheimer's disease, slower cognitive aging, and fewer depressive symptoms. Even moderate adherence has been shown to reduce Alzheimer's risk by up to 35%, which is a pretty strong return on investment for eating spinach and skipping the fries. Meanwhile, the AHEI is the nutritional equivalent of a good all-around student: solid, balanced, and well-supported by epidemiology. Developed by Harvard researchers to better predict chronic disease risk than the standard dietary guidelines, the AHEI scores high on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and omega-3 fats, and low on red meat, trans fats, added sugar, and sodium. Though it wasn't designed specifically for brain health, longitudinal data from cohorts like the Nurses' Health Study and the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study show that those with the highest AHEI adherence are less likely to suffer from depression, report greater psychological well-being, and maintain sharper cognitive function into old age. So, how does food talk to the brain exactly? It's a mix of chemistry, immunity, and gut drama. Nutrients like folate, vitamin B12, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, and polyphenol all play roles in neurotransmitter synthesis, neuroinflammation regulation, and even hippocampal volume maintenance. Translation: kale might not solve all your emotional problems, but it does help support the systems that keep your mood stable and your memory intact. Then there's the gut-brain axis, the emerging star of nutritional psychiatry. The same high-fiber, plant-rich diet scored by the MIND and AHEI frameworks also happen to be the ones that nourish a diverse, resilient gut microbiome. And that's a big deal, because your gut bacteria manufacture neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA, train the immune system, and even influence how the brain responds to stress. A disturbed gut, think low fiber, high sugar, lots of ultra-processed foods, can amplify inflammation and reduce the brain's stress buffering capacity, two things that make late-life depression more likely and more stubborn. One particularly grim reality of aging is that depression and anxiety often go underdiagnosed, especially when they manifest as fatigue, appetite changes, or cognitive fog, rather than overt sadness. But diet may offer a rare form of subtle intervention, one that acts daily, without stigma, side effects, or a copay. In studies of older adults, higher MIND and AHEI scores have been linked to not just fewer clinical symptoms of depression, but also greater life satisfaction, better sleep quality, and reduced risk of major depressive episodes. Interestingly, the strongest mental health benefits don't seem to come from going full-on health zealot overnight. Rather, they come from consistency, a daily rhythm of nutrient-dense meals, regular eating patterns, and a lower burden of processed, sugary, or fried foods. Even small tweaks, adding a serving of berries, switching from white rice to brown, or cooking with olive oil instead of butter, have been linked to noticeable improvements in emotional and cognitive outcomes over time. Of course, nutrition alone isn't a cure-all for late-life mood disorders or cognitive decline. Social connection, physical activity, good sleep, and medical care all play critical roles. But diet is uniquely modifiable, repeatable, and empowering. One of the few tools that older adults can adjust 3 times a day without waiting for a doctor's appointment. So yes, the MIND and AHEI diets are more than just heart smart, they're mind smart. They offer a subtle but significant form of psychological scaffolding, helping older adults weather the mental storms of aging with a little more grace, grit, and greens. Think of it as mood insurance: delicious, low risk, and surprisingly effective. In the end, when it comes to brain health, your fork might just be the gentlest antidepressant around. It won't fix everything, but it can tip the balance toward resilience. And that's worth chewing on.